We just spoke with Tim Bezbatchenko regarding your newest signing. Maybe you can provide us another perspective of what Herc Gomez adds to this team.
Hercules he's a competitor first and foremost. He's a winner. He's won championships in both MLS and in the Mexican League. He's a hard worker. He takes pride in the work that he does. Over the past, when I played with him briefly in Colorado, he was a wide player. He played in wide midfield. He's been playing wide midfield for his team in Mexico recently. And he's played some wide midfield with the U.S. national team. So he's versatile. He can play in midfield positions. He can also spot cover it forward if we need to, but he's a guy who takes a ton of pride in what he does. He's a man, meaning when we get down into these big games, he'll be there. He'll be ready, and nothing that we'll come up against will shock him. So he'll be ready to help us. When he arrives, he's going to have to we'll figure out exactly how he fits in, whether that's whatever role that may be. We'll see. If the team is playing well, then the team will be playing well. But for us, we've added a guy who knows how to win championships and knows how to win games.
Looked like Michael was in full training today. You expect him back for tomorrow's game?
Yes.
And what is
short answer? Yes.
Yeah. What problems does Kansas City pose? They're going to be missing Dwyer, which is a huge loss to them. Espinosa's out. Do you think this is a good opportunity to take advantage of a good side who's weakened?
I think they're key players for them for sure. I think it's about us again, another home game. It's about our mentality. In terms of them, I think they're very aware of who they are. Peter's a good coach. He's established a good culture there. They are scrappy. They're competitive. They'll close you down. They'll be organized. They'll be stingy and in all ways. So they got a system that they work out of, and we need to just be aggressive like we were the other night. We need to be able to play forward and play between their lines, and we need to be aggressive in the way we attack and put pressure on their goal and put pressure on their back four and stay organized. I thought last game, especially as the game progressed, I thought we got more and more organized defensively. With our back group getting more minutes together with the addition of Kantari in there and Jackson, who's moved to the back and done very well. The more time they get together, I think the better we're starting to get with that.
Kansas City has only lost 4 games this year. Maybe it's a coincidence they've conceded in all 4 of those games first. So what is it going to take for you guys to break them down and score first?
That's one of the things that we talk about. When we score first, we're a pretty good team. And when we get on top of teams, especially as the game progresses, then teams have to try to come at us and try to come to get results. And you see what the result of that is on our side, because then Sebastian has space to run into. We can transition. With Michael and Josie and Robbie, and the pace that we have up top and the power that we have in transition, and Seba, obviously, when teams have to come at us, it leaves them very exposed with the guys that we have in transition. So it's important, if we can get on top, then teams have to come try to make the game a little bit, and that leaves a lot of space for us to transition into. So getting on top is an important thing. It's one of the themes that we've talked about, especially given the number of goals we've given away early in games, that we need to be better in that space.
Defensively speaking, because of Damien's suspension, you're forced to chop and change again for this game, so probably Zavaleta and Kantari perhaps as that central defensive partnership. So it's another new partnership, which of course these things take time to meld. This is going to be a competitive game. You don't want to be negative, but you've got to hope for the best almost back there.
Yeah, I mean, they are, what I think is great about this is they're both cerebral players. They play with their head, they read plays, they're thinking ahead of time, they'll be communicating to each other. So I think the matchup is a good matchup. They're both predictable. They're not unpredictable players. They're very secure in what they do on the defending side, and they'll make good decisions. So in that way, I think the partnership can work and will be predictable in some ways, and just make good, solid defending decisions. Aside from that, it's when we've been best, like in the last game, is when the 6 guys in front of our back four are doing a good job getting pressure to the ball, making plays predictable for our back line, so that the reads are very simple. And I thought we did a good job of that in the last game, especially again as it progressed. I thought we did a better job of all 10 of us being engaged in the defending side of things and making it difficult for the opposition to really pick their head up and choose what pass they wanted to make, and that's going to be important for us again.
You talked about communication. It's been a common theme in recent weeks and recent months. Are you beginning to see something from that group, from goalkeeper out, that gives you optimism that they are on the same page from an athletic point of view, but also from a communications perspective?
Yeah, I mean, Ahmed is he's a communicator. He's the guy who, you know, even watching him and speaking with him, he's a guy who's very good to his neighbors. He defends with his neighbors and the people around him, and he's communicating and he's organizing, and that's a good thing. And I know Eric is comfortable in that communication. Sometimes guys who are not the most athletic guys, like myself when I was a center back, it's important to have other guys around you doing their job and communicating and using everybody, and that's something that I think is important, you know, and if we get 10 guys working together, we are a very good defending team. And to be fair, most of our goals haven't come really on the run of play. Most of our goals have come through set pieces or things where we didn't organize in advance of the moment and where we got distracted or lose concentration. And as long as we keep our concentration, I'm comfortable that we will do a good job defensively.
Talking about set pieces, when you've got a player like Feilhaber coming to town, you know the number of goals and assists that he's got. Have you worked specifically to be tighter, to be more communicative on those set pieces to make sure the angles are covered?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've run into a number of teams this year who are very dangerous in set pieces, who have guys who can serve balls. That's a thing in this league now. We have a lot of players, Kaká, who obviously we didn't see in the last game, but we were anticipating seeing him. And we worked a lot on preparation in terms of set pieces, but also in the run of play. Benny's a guy who, if he can get facing forward, he can hit a lot of different passes, and he can hit a shot. And so we need to be aware of him as well. And you know, they have guys who can do things. There's no question. But I think if we work hard as a group and we stay connected and we do what we did the other night, we give ourselves a chance to win this game, and that's what we're looking for.
Big picture, I mean, in terms of making the push for the playoffs, you've got to take it one game at a time. But at what stage, Greg, do you sense that there is that mental battle almost won before a ball is kicked, which is so important? The fact that teams are coming to Toronto worrying about what they're going to face, not just Giovinco, but as a team that they know they're going to have a tough game, and that can be so important.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Or in preparation for the last match. We watched the goals we've given up. We talked about the start of matches. I think every team that comes in here, they see on paper what we have and what we're capable of doing in terms of scoring goals. And I think it's important for us, the starts of games, that we immediately set a tone that we're here to play and we're here to be aggressive and we're coming after you, and over 90 minutes you're going to have to deal with us. And I think that's important. I think the games we've started strong like that are the games we've had our best games. So for us, we constantly talk about and even train this week the start of matches and making sure that we're on the front foot to start games, not the other way around.
Your old friends, the disciplinary committee, are back again. It sounds like Shea Roux could miss tomorrow's match from a tackle, I guess, Wednesday night. What do you know about that?
Don't have official ruling, but the word on the street is that we could be missing him. So we're preparing for that. In terms of my opinion of it, I'll reserve it. It's not doing me any good to give my opinion of things, I think. But I mean, it was a hard challenge for sure. Was it worthy of suspension? I don't know. That's their decision, I guess. At the end, we deal with it and we move on, and we've got a good group of guys ready to play if that's what happens.
What's the timeline for Hercules being available for selection?
He's due to get into town next week, and then we'll see from there. We'll check his fitness, his form, all those kinds of things, and we'll see how it rolls from there.
Does Altidore move back into the starting lineup right away, and are you guys doing anything special to keep him in shape, seeing how he's coming up on almost a year in season at this point?
Yeah, Josie feels great, you know, and coming back from what was the hamstring injury, and then he went away for Gold Cup, and then he was back to us, and then he had the suspension, a number of things. I think you know, he's in a great place right now. He's gotten a little bit of I wouldn't call it rest, but at the same time, we've been able to take a little bit of time to push him in terms of getting his fitness right, getting sharp again, getting some good training sessions in. All things that are important for a striker to get in front of goal and build up his engine and all those kinds of things. And so I feel like he's in as good a position as he's been all year in terms of his fitness, in terms of his focus, in terms of, you know, what we're seeing in training is. I'm really excited to get Josie back on the field. So, you know, this is our third game also this week. So you can't push all the horses every single game, and we were fortunate in some ways that we got this win. Josie didn't play 90. Obviously, he got to rest. Michael coming back from some rest. We've got some horses that are going to come in fresh in this game, and that's always important.